temple today in Atlanta, California, and today I'm going to be talking about ETs and what is going on. As far as I understand, man, I don't know everything, but I do know a lot. I do know that there are the good ETs, there are the bad ETs. There are a certain point that we are left to do our own demise in what we do with this planet to a certain point, and then there's a larger understanding I have that even though the good ETs want us to be left alone to do the things that we need to develop on our own, they still have to come in and kind of give us a little shove, because there are bad ETs coming in doing their thing, so they try to keep them off our planet, away from us. You know, they can't keep all of them. Some of them come and go so fast that they can't be tracked or do enough damage that good ETs would even care to, acknowledge them. So you have us, and we're being guarded. And then how do the ETs? Of course, they're not going to. They can't come down and make themselves available to us like that, because it's just too much for you. Take it, a enlightened person like me or you, and we could handle these things. But your average person living in the bayou, in the swamp, that's just not well educated. I don't think you really realize how this could affect their mentality and their temperament, and scare the shit out of them, and just turn people into destroy them. It would destroy people that couldn't wrap their minds around it. It's just too much for them. It's too much. It would destroy our whole generations of individuals if they were to show up like that. Not all of us, because me, you, we could handle it. Been there, done that. But so what they do is they'll come in and they'll visit so many people. They already know what beings have recreated or reincarnated, and that they're already spirit workers, they're already light workers, they're starseeds. So they come in and they'll start communicating very gently with these people by contacts. And they do it very gently because they understand very well that it doesn't take a lot of interaction with them to do what is called a conscious excitement in your brain. They can take you and do things, tests on you, and you can spend hours and hours inside a craft with them and be conscious the whole time. But right as they let you go and they take you back to your home, they they remove all that and they erase it from you. So all you do is get an inkling of the light coming in and remember, a craft over your head, and that's about all you get. And that's all they want you to have. Even you're common driving down the road and the light comes over you and your car turns off and your radio turns off and your ignition won't start and you have a bright light over you. That even if they didn't abduct you at that point, they know that scenario of abduction is already in your mind, because here's, in the 2000s, 2010, 2020, the internet, everybody across the board in all nations of this world have a small idea, a very good idea about what aliens are and what type of things they do. I mean, so they don't have to do a lot to get your mind to turn on that conscious excitement. They just need to just show up in your life, usually at a very young age, or probably, I guess they do it when you're ready for it, when they believe that your mind will direct what they do to you properly and not take it improperly. You know what they say about this goes directly about what I'm talking about with them and how they just gently push you. And it's that old saying, oxygen, you get too much and you get too high and you just lose it. You'll become insane with all the things they give you and all the information they feed you. You couldn't function in a normal reality and then pass it on and help other people around you. It's just be too much. So they give you a small bit of it just to get you lit, get your conscience excited, get you connected to the spirit world and thinking outside the box. And when they got you to that place, they can let you go and they'll come back and make sure you're still going on a good path. They'll come back and check on you. But once they get your conscience excited, they're pretty much done with you, and they don't need to do further. So they let you do the rest by your studying and by what they've already kicked on that light. It can't turn off once you've had some kind of contact with a being. And it doesn't matter what kind of being. It can be a Bigfoot, or it can be some type of other cryptid that turns your mind on. Also, other things that awaken your mind also are, traumatic events. What do you call it? Death experience. If you had that, if you've been in an auto accident, if you suffered some kind of traumatic loss. You lost a child, or you lost a wife, or you lost something that was just beyond traumatic, that will awaken you and also cause that conscious excitement to happen. Not as rapid as when the ET does it to you, but so they've gained the ability to understand that the human mind is they just need to feed you a little bit to get your mind to explode. So that's what the good ETs do. They come down, they have contact with people, and they've been having contact with people for hundreds of years already, doing what they're doing. The last 900 years, they've been doing what they're doing as far as getting people to consciously wake up through contact, very small pieces of contact with them. And it's taken them generations to learn how to get this right, because there were times when they overfed people, and those people would just become nuts, and they didn't help the cause at all. They actually, were institutionalized or whatever. So I learned a long time ago that they could feed me so much that my brain just couldn't it was too much. I wanted to scream at the world about all the things I knew about that they were teaching me. And I understand, like, wow, if they really came down and landed in my yard every time I called them and somebody wanted proof that I spoke to them, that would just be too much. It would be so fucking much to do that. It would not allow me to raise my kids. It would not allow me to function pretty much in society. I would have been struggling most of my life to stay out of mental institutions, because, I'm for sure doctors would have wanted to say, hey, this guy's like, wow. So the ETs, they do what they do because they know it doesn't take a lot. It just takes that small amount to get your brain, bang, turn on that mechanism that gets you thinking about everything outside the box. And that's what's the beauty of it is, once you realize that you've been kicked on by them purposely, and you understand through years and years of hearing other people's experiences with them, and you start connecting all the dots, and then you see, okay, so even though I'm working with good ETs, that doesn't mean that they're good ETs. I mean, they might have their personal agenda, that they're doing things that, are using me, abusing my spirit, abusing my rebirths in life. I don't know that. I cannot say that the good ETs that I find good are truly 100%, don't have their own agenda and working with us as their puppets. Sometimes as a spiritual worker, as a shaman, I feel like younger kids can relate to this as a Pokemon in a Pokeball. And when I'm reborn, I'm taking out that ball and throwing into work, right? And here I am, a Charizard, burning people up here. And but I don't belong to myself. I feel like I belong to some kind of there's some little alien race up there that has me in a little container and with 10 others around his belt. And when he gets in a spiritual battle, he pulls me out, man. And I'm born and I work through my life here on this planet. And I kick some ass, and then I go back to his Pokeball. Go figure. But so I don't have all the answers as far as good aliens. Are they seriously good? But, I can tell you the things they feed me, and the feelings that come over me from the things and the conscious excitement they've caused in me is so fucking beautiful, and it leads me to the most humblest, peacefulest, most loving, compassionate place that I cannot doubt in my deepest of soul that this is a beautiful thing, and I would not I should not follow this because I know it's should be followed. It's my depth at my core, and they're working with that. They're working with the beauty of love, of the energy of the cosmic bang of love. It was not an explosion. It was an explosion of love that caused everything here. That's what it was. It wasn't a big bang theory. It was a love theory. All this was caused through love. So, and you have the duality of darkness, and it's very strong. Ooh, then this retrograde we've been in, very tough for a lot of us, huh? Full moon last night and tonight has basically all the muggles have been going crazy for like 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know if you noticed, but how narcissistic even normal people became the last 2 or 3 weeks. And the last full moon 2 days, it's just everybody's had a collapse. All the people that were being narcissistic for the last 2.5 weeks during the Mercury retrograde have just collapsed because they've been putting out so much energy, and now the people that are spiritual are like not under attack no more, because we're all under attack by narcissistic muggles during the retrograde. So now that we're coming up to April 1st tomorrow, all that would dissipate and everything will be beautiful. To all my friends out there, ask me the questions and I will tell you the best I can about life and death and rebirth, what type of aliens I've met, what kind of craft I've been in. I will tell you the best I can. A lot of that stuff is they turn it off for me. Like when I go on a craft when I was younger, 6, 7, and I would get picked up in my backyard and I'd go into the small diamond-shaped craft, and I would sit with my legs crossed, just like a little Buddha. I would sit in a small craft, and I'd have one entity, a small worker gray next to me, and he would be running the craft, and I would sit there and basically do a telepathic download while floating over my house about 30 or 40 feet between, I'd say, 2 and 4 in the morning. And this happened for years. But I would just basically, and as I floated in the craft would become translucent, so I could see the roof of my house, my whole backyard, and I basically was like just kind of floating above my house with one little guy next to me. And that would go on for about 2 hours. I would meditate and sit there, and they would I would get downloads, and then they'd bring me back down to the backyard. I'd go through they'd open up the wall would open up, and I'd go back into the closet in my mom's bedroom and into the bed. And I would be escorted by one gray into the bed between ages of 2.5, and I think it stopped about 3.5. They stopped doing the night visits, and they just did the day visits. I'm running out of time here, so I got 15 minutes before I can keep these things on YouTube, or I have to break them up. I don't like breaking them up into different segments. So this is my basic ET understanding. I will tell you what kinds of ETs now. Little grays are basically the big eye gray suit guys. They're basically a worker, like a biological worker. They're not a race of being. It's like Steven Spielberg got it all wrong. Instead of having R2D2 and C3PO, throw all those away and make them all little grays. And all races of grays all races of ETs would have those, just like all races of human beings have an iPhone. iPhone is basically an advanced version, a shitty version of what a little gray guy is. A gray guy is basically a biological iPhone, and they're bought and sold or whatever through different races. So you'll see like a praying mantis with a little gray in them. You'll see a blonde Nordic Palladian with grays with them. You'll see tall whites with grays with them. And basically, those are just their little workers. They'll come out. They'll open the doors of the craft. They'll fly the craft. They do all the trans-dimensional flying of craft because their brains are split in two, so they can understand the equilibrium between travel dimensions. They're built to go interdimensionally. Like our bodies can't handle that because of the heaviness of different dimensions, but they're built for that. So they can go do work in other dimensions for other beings because they're built to do that interdimensionally. They have that process. And then another person, really important one I met, some people call it an Ebon. I just call it a blue a blue energy being. It's not from this reality. It's a being that came